So maybe it's your first time, like about to get up on stage and jam with some people, or just jam with some people in your neighborhood or whatever, and they want you to solo, and you're like, oh man, where am I at? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you 3 different places in both major and minor to easily find where you're at. And we're gonna do that by relating our pentatonic scale positions to chord shapes. So when you play this chord, you know what's underneath that particular chord. You're here, you know what's underneath this one. You're here. By the way, these are all the same chord. You'll know what's there. So no matter where you're at, as long as you can find one of those 3 shapes, you'll be fine. We're going to do that in both major and minor. So let's zoom in for a closer look and check it out. And by the way, if you like what you see, spread the word and tell your friends. There's hundreds of videos here, enough for everybody. You guys are freaking awesome. All right, so there are 3 chord inversions I want to talk about. And that's the E shape, the A shape, and the D shape of each chord. Let me give you an example. Say we are in A major. The E shape of the chord, if you were to imagine what an E chord looks like in open position, that's going to be the basis of the shape of the chord. The first finger, which is going to go on the lowest string, that's going to be like your movable capo. And wherever you put this shape in conjunction with your first finger is going to be what it is. So you got the E shape, but if you take it up to where the A note is, you have the out of tune guitar. You have an A major chord with an E shape right here. Okay, so you also have an A shape. Okay, and just picture A. And in this case, A is in open position, so it's the same premise, right? Imagine that you're playing the chord like this and your first finger is hitting, the invisible fret right here, and that's the A note, okay? So if you moved it up here, for instance, kept the A shape, but now your first finger on the root note of C, that would be a C chord, but you're using the A shape. Same thing, we got D. If we want to make this D shape, right, in open position, it's a D chord because of that root note. But if I wanted to make it an A chord using a D shape, I'd move it up to here. The quick way to find that is make the D shape, and then the root note is actually going to be on the B string. Now, what does this have to do with knowing where you're at scale-wise? Well, it gives you 3 opportunities to know in the pentatonic scale where these shapes are, what is underneath that. Okay, so if we're here in the E shape, part of this chord right here would be A major, position 2. All right, so that's where you get the okay, and that's right there. Now it also has notes of the 3rd position, right? But most of 2nd position is right there. So if the band's like, hey man, you're in A major, let's jam a 1-4-5. You're like, oh man, where am I? Oh, there's my A chord on the 6th string. Okay, position 2 is right here. Then you can figure out the rest. Right? So, I mean, it can be as simple as that, too. I mean, 4 notes. I mean, you can do everything you need. Or 6 notes, you can do everything you need. With just a few notes, okay? Now, if you're in the A shape position, that is where your first position of the pentatonic scale would be. If it's a major chord, keep in mind these are all major chords. Minor is all different, and we'll get to that next. If you're right here, right underneath your fingers of this A chord is where the first position of A major pentatonic is, okay? So keep in mind that's super important because this is where you're going to learn the difference between major and minor and targeting the notes to make it sound like it's in major, okay? So now you're going to be targeting for these notes right here in this A chord. So for instance, here's our A shape. So keep in mind it's going to start in the same fret, okay? So put your finger right here. Okay, and that's where A major pentatonic first position is. Okay, so all right, so A shape, first position. E shape, second position. Okay, the D shape is where, you know, it shares third and fourth position, but I like to think of it as where fourth position A major pentatonic is. And that's where you're going to get a ton of those. You know, a lot of those really cool Southern rock. A lot of those great spots. So that's another thing. I mean, if you just know, God, there's that one chord, you'll know at least where you can at least hammer out one position. You don't have to move around a lot, especially in the beginning. I mean, one position's enough. You know, as you get better, shoot for 2. Now you can easily find 3, right? If you just are able to see the association between these chords, right? You'll know where position 1 is with this shape, position 2 with this shape, position 4 with this shape. Now that is for the major pentatonic. Minor pentatonic is different. Okay, so minor pentatonic, we're going to use the same shapes, the E, the A, and the D, but this time they're a little bit different. So now in my E shape, it's actually position 1. So if I'm in A minor, you can see that that chord right there contains, right? So that's the easiest of all, right? Minor is pretty easy, right? You just find that root note on the low E string, that's first position, and away you go. Okay, now in the A position, keep in mind what our shape is. This is where you're going to have position 4. Okay, so it's easier to imagine it up here, but I'll show you down here. So this is position 4. All right, or here. Okay, now in the D position, that, and this will all make sense now. Okay, so here's an A chord. Now Stevie Ray Vaughan comes to mind. That is all right there. So you're actually playing right out of an A minor chord, position 2. That's like every blues person and their mother and their dog, their cats, their birds, their turtles, the iguanas, the snakes, they all play that lick, and it's that position, and it's the D shape of that chord. So now you can start to associate not only, you know, oh, that's where position 2 is with this shape, but then you can start to understand, oh, if I examine the shape, then I'm going to know, oh, those are the notes of the chord right there. Oh, those are the important notes. Those are the ones we want to shoot for. So again, reviewing, if we're in major, the E shape is going to be position 2. Position 1 is going to be with the A shape. Okay, and then the D shape is position 4. Now, minor again, the E shape chord, position 1 of A minor pentatonic right on your fingers. The D shape is position 2. Remember, your root note's right here. So the B string, that is where the root is. You're like, oh, where's that shape? Oh, there's my A note. Oh, there's that D minor shape. So there's my A minor chord using the D shape inversion. And then this one can be here or here. But regardless, it's in 4th position. Now let me show you this quick trick too, because I think just because it's an open position, you lose the association. Let's pretend we're in a different key really quick, and let's pick B minor. So, you know, obviously there's our B note, so position 1's right there. But if I'm in a B minor here, it's not an open position. So when you see this chord, this minor shape, position 4 is right there. And if you notice, now you'll start to see a lot of those notes. All right? And you can solo right out of that. Okay, so look for that shape. That is the A minor version of the chord, but now it's, you know, looks like a bar chord. So keep in mind that. Those are 3 quick ways in any key to find where you're at on the fly.